Third time? Third time's the charm? Jesus! Okay, can I just get down to the news and make this quick? As always, everything is a lot in the news. But this one kind of is notable. Because, I mean, look at this. January 6th rioter pardoned by Trump in January 6th case gets life sentence for child sex crimes. Don't know about you, but that does not look like a trans person. Definitely doesn't look like a drag queen. He looks like a short king, but not a drag queen. January 6th defendant pardoned by President Donald Trump for his role in the Capitol attack was sentenced to life in prison for child molestation and related crimes. Life in prison. I don't, by Maga standards, this dude looks like he's in his 50s, so he's probably about 32. Hate ages you. But life in prison for this guy. I do want to know how old he is. Andrew Paul Johnson was arrested in August, 9 months after Trump pardoned him for the January 6th terrorist attack. Crimes ranging from low-level misdemeanors to felony charges like assaulting officers with deadly weapons. Johnson was convicted last month of 5 charges, including molesting a child under 12, another under 16. Holy shit, dude. As well as lewd and lascivious exhibition and transmitting harmful materials by electronic device to a minor. So he probably sent a dick pic. Men really need to start learning how to keep it in their pants. If you're sending dick pics to minors, you need to just go straight to jail. No question, straight to jail. If you send a dick pic without consent to an adult woman, you also need to be considered for jail. If not, just straight to jail. He's 45. Bruh is 45. I thought he was a decade older. Has now been sentenced to life, according to the Office of State Attorney Bill Gladstone of the 5th Judicial Circuit in Florida. Johnson told one of the victims that he would see a windfall from the government after his pardon, and that he would put the victim in his will to take any leftover money, according to law enforcement. So this is what he's referring to, is Trump was saying how he was going to, because I think there's a big class action of the January 6th terrorists that are suing the government right now, if I remember right. So we're just giving away money to these terrorists so that they can go buy more guns and bombs, and then also apparently buy more CSAM off of Reddit and 4chan, or wherever the hell these people get it from. They used to get it from 4chan and 8chan, for what I remember reading about, and yet those companies are still somehow in business. Okay. So he was going to say that he would give all that money to the victim, which, of course, is probably bullshit. Because, I mean, all Republicans do is lie. You know, that's their MO. That's their go-to. That's what they do. Oops, what am I doing here? There we go. Sorry, bear with me just one second. Something's wrong with my YouTube. There we go. Okay. So, what else does it say here? Trump has discussed the possibility of taxpayer-funded payouts. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. Justice Department already gave out just under $5 million to the family of Ashley Babbitt, the terrorist, who was shot as she jumped through a broken window leading into the House Speaker's gallery. Earlier this week, January 6th defendant Brian Betancourt was arrested in connection with assault and battery that occurred aboard a metro train after videos surfaced online that appeared to show him touching women's hair. Jesus, what is... These guys are all just pervs. There's a reason they gravitate towards the orange bloviated dung wad of Donald Trump. He's just as disgusting as they are, right? They see themselves in him. I mean, this dude's going on the metro sniffing and touching women's hair. Okay, well, it doesn't say he's sniffing it, but he's touching women's hair. It's just like, all these people are fucking gross every single time. And then when they're not doing stuff like this, they're doing stuff like this. Nazi have an inside Miami campus Republicans racist group chat. This is like, what, the third or fourth now? I think there might be a bit of a problem here, fellas. Ugh. Am I not streaming? Wait, maybe I'm not streaming. Hold on. Where's the Twitch app? I don't think I'm streaming. Oh, wait, am I? Okay, well, I am on YouTube. Something's wrong with the Twitch stream. I don't know. Whatever. We're going to figure it out later. Oops. Okay. I am way in over my head on this technical crap. So, this chat is yet again Nazi heaven for Florida Republicans. WhatsApp conversations leaked to the Miami Herald. Participants use variations of the N-word. Wow, how clever of them. More than 400 times. What? I didn't see that coming. Regularly described women as whores. Now, this is just getting far-fetched, people. Use slurs to talk about Jewish and gay people and mused about Hitler's politics. That is so probably accurate, actually. That sounds like something Nazis would do. Interspersed throughout were discussions about events promoting the Republican Party at Florida International University. The schools told the Herald the chat logs are part of an ongoing criminal investigation. Yeah, right, like anything's going to happen to them in Florida. This is the Republican base. And I put this on Twitter the other day. I said, there is no coexisting with this. There is no living peacefully among people who are next door to us and want us killed. That's what these people want. They fantasize. What does it talk about here? Is it extent of racism and extremism? Remember the chat the primary use the N-word. At one point, he posted a block of text calling for dozens of acts. Here it is. At one point, he posted a block of text calling for dozens of acts of extreme violence against black people who he referred to using the N-word, including crucifying, beheading, and dissecting people. Bejarano hung up the phone when reached by the Herald. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. These people are living among us. They are our neighbors. They are our peers. They are our people we see in line at the DMV, and they want us dead. This is what they want, per their own words. And yet, God forbid, we start talking about liberals needing to start taking some self-defense classes, learning wrestling, learning boxing, learning jiu-jitsu, and buying a fucking gun. These are not things that I am not saying for no reason at all. I'm saying because of shit like this. They're talking about beheading people. A couple of years ago, there was this guy who beheaded his own father because they had a disagreement over Trump. Just last month, there was a man who murdered his own daughter because they had a disagreement over Trump. A couple of years ago, there was also a neighbor who stabbed his neighbor because he thought he was a Democrat. And I think the joke is that he actually wasn't one. He was an independent. But, like, there is a reason I am very clearly telling liberals to buy guns and get training. There's a very clear reason why I am buying all the guns that I can and keeping armed and keeping trained. It's because if these motherfuckers show up at my door, you can bet your ass that they're not going to be coming inside. My ass. Let's see. And it just goes to show again that, like, the violence, you don't see this shit on the left. You just don't. There's group chats of people talking about following ICE and pursuing ICE and wanting to see them jailed. There are not group chats that have been reported on that are having anything near the level of extremeness is what you're reading about in these. Now, what the feds try to do is they try to make up a bunch of lies and bullshit and say that it's in the chats, and then lo and behold, who was it? The Cop City cases. There's also the I was just reading out of it, the something 24 defendants where the feds were trying to charge them with terrorism, claiming that they were planning this violence, and it was all bullshit, and they were acquitted. Same thing with the dude who threw the sandwich, right? They claimed that's violence. And then the pigs behind closed doors in their texts were joking like, oh, that was really funny. I didn't feel anything. But then when they get in court, it's, oh, my arm. Oh, I think it's going to fall off. It's always bullshit. So, here we are yet again with the Democrats doing Democrat things. They're saying they won't rule out giving Trump $50 billion for more with Iran. I don't rule anything out, said Alyssa Slotkin. I mean, we're in it. Who is asking for this? The latest poll that I saw said that, again, I talked about this yesterday, something like 89% of Democrats are against the strikes in Iran. Who is this woman trying to advocate for? Who is she representing? It's not the people. It's not the people, but it is the donors. It is the billionaires. It is the people that want that real estate so they can create their new Epstein Pedo Island. It is the billionaires who are enriching themselves off of the bombs that get sold to the U.S. military and then get sold to the Israeli genocidal regime. It sure as hell is not Americans that this $50 billion is going to. I mean, here again and again and again. This is like, look at what's happening here. Hang on, I'm going a little out of order. Let's see. This is a clear war crime. This is the boat that was attacked in Sri Lanka. So this boat was training off the coast of Sri Lanka. It was an Iranian ship, and its sailors were not poised for warfare. They might not even have been fully armed. This has now been clarified in reporting that they were not armed. They had bands, and they did a presidential parade for the president of Sri Lanka. Strike came without warning. A U.S. submarine launched a sneak attack, blowing the ship up. Americans killed most of the crew on board, and a violation of the decorum of the rules of the sea left the survivors to drown. This is such a huge slap in the face to people who have been at sea, because one of the unwritten rules is that no matter what, if you are stranded, if you are drowning, you go out and you help the people that are out there in those waters. That's just the rule. It's been the rule of the ocean for a long-ass fucking time. And they completely turned their backs on it. Where'd the story go? They were fathers, brothers, sons. Sons weren't even fighters. They were musicians for the Iranian naval band. Yeah, unarmed. This was the clarification. Unarmed Iranian ship was to be forwarded an Indian naval exercise. Paraded on land. The U.S. at the last minute pulled out of the exercise and instead attacked the Iranian ship with the torpedo. Jesus Christ. Et tu, Brute? This is just such a cowardly betrayal. Going into an exercise, and then the moment someone turns their back, they stabbed them in the back. This is just utter cowardice. It is below our military, and whoever was on that ship should be court-martialed. Every single person that went along with this should be tried and sent straight to jail. Do not collect $200. Straight to jail. It's ridiculous. This is what the Democrats want to fund. Missile fired by U.S. Israel hit 2 schools near Tehran, Iranian media. Missiles fired by the United States and Israel have hit 2 schools in the town of Paran, southwest of Tehran. Iran's semi-official Fars news agency has reported. The agency shared photos of damage and debris in what appears to be a classroom and said several nearby residential units also sustained damage in the attack on Thursday. This was intentional, by the way. They didn't hit this place on accident. I don't know if this story covers it, but the attack came just 6 days after what Iran has described as a U.S.-Israeli one on a girls' school in the southern city of Minab, where 165 schoolgirls and staff were killed. 165 people. That's how many were killed in Sandy Hook? 25? So that's what? 4, 5, 6, almost 7 times more people that died in Sandy Hook died at this Iranian school. If you can't see that this is wrong, then you are not human. You're just not. You're not. You may have the DNA of a human, you may have the physical traits of a human, but you are not human. You are a cyborg destroyer in a meat suit. That is all you are. To think that 165 schoolgirls from like elementary to below middle school should have been murdered by bombs, you're just not human. You are a under-bridge dwelling fucking troll. But this is what the Democrats want to fund. Some Democrats aren't ruling out voting for a multi-billion-dollar military infusion, setting up a potential internal clash in the weeks ahead for a party whose political base is aghast at Trump's aggression against Iran. Keep in mind, the war in Iran doesn't even have full of Maga. There's near 20% of the right, more than that I think now, are against it. That is a wedge issue. That is an opportunity for the Democrats to grow that wedge. And it can be done if the Democrats would, do some fucking of the politicking. Does it quote anyone else that's, let's see, must some money into the nine. And this is, again, they've already got $990 billion. There's $500 billion on the table that the military doesn't know how to spend. And rather than use that $500 billion, they want to get 50 more billion. At least 7 Democrats to overcome the filibuster. Okay, Chris Murphy says no way, good. I was just going to say, with the exception of one Democrat, we all know who that Democrat is. Fucking Frankenfetterman. Yeah, here it is. Only Democrat to appear. I think he already said he's going to vote for Mark Wayne Mullen to replace Chrissy Noem, which we'll get to later. Let's see. Pat Ryan, so I'm assuming this he's a no. Several Democrats in the Senate aren't ruling out supporting more. Jesus Christ. Includes the panel's top. Jack Reed, right? I've seen that he's in favor of it. Gary Peters of Michigan. Tim Kaine. Jesus Christ. If Hillary had won, Tim Kaine would have been the John Bolton of fucking Henry Kissinger's. You know? Alyssa Slotkin of Michigan. Yeah, that tracks. God, these people are just fucking evil. Both of these two senators are both Democrats from Michigan, and they're in favor of this. My God. Just a disgrace. Just look at my opposition party, dog. This is insane. And keep in mind, so not only are these Democrats willing to fund these bombs, they're blowing up schools, they're blowing up hospitals, they're blowing up unarmed boats, not even around Iran. But this is the same party that was willing to support ICE and fund ICE, right? 4 Democrats voted with Republicans to fund DHS. When was this? This was back in February. No, this was just recently. So this passed the House. Oh, this was today. Excuse me. So we have Henry Cuellar, and if I remember correct, Henry Cuellar was the Nancy Pelosi-backed candidate over the more left-wing progressive, and Henry Cuellar also was one of the deciding votes on many other Republican bills. If I recall right, it was also this latest tax scam bill, which cut the taxes for the billionaires yet again. He was also a crucial vote when it comes to anything abortion-related, siding with Republicans. Lucincamp Perez, she was one of the same. These are 2 of the same culprits last time, by the way, back in 2025 when we first wanted to shut down DHS because the ICE raids were starting. Jared Golden doesn't sound familiar. Don Davis doesn't sound familiar. No, he does look familiar. I think he was one of the ones too. Largely, yeah, passed the lower chamber in January. That's right. So yeah, that January vote, so look at this. These are the same people that voted back in January. It was before Alex Preddy. And then these 4 Democrats, there was 7 at the time, one of them came out and said, I regret that vote. Tom Suozzi was one of them. He got heckled at his town hall. And it's like, when are you guys going to learn? You are not safe. Being the pick-me, being the yes man on these votes does not make you safe, Democrats. If Trump had all the power he wanted right now, and you had these votes, you're still going to the gulags. What's not tracking here? This is not just a fight for the safety for the future of the people you represent. This is not just a fight for the future of the country. This is a fight for your own safety. Because if Trump is allowed to consolidate the power that he wants, he won't need votes. You know? He's going to be Palpatine. Execute Order 66. I am the Senate. He won't need you. He's just going to do it, and then you go on a forced labor camp in Alligator Alcatraz. Yeah, so these are the same Democrats. That's Tom Suozzi there. So they did this in January. They didn't learn then. These are the senators that voted. This was November of last year during the last shutdown. Uh, who I can't remember. Gene Shaheen, right? Dick Durbin, Tim Kaine, of course, Maggie Hassan, Angus King, Jackie Rosen of Nevada. Yeah, both Nevada senators. Fetterman, of course. I mean, the Democrats will not learn. There's just no. Lab rats learn faster than Democrats. I'm not even kidding. You know? We can teach an ape how to draw the Mona Lisa before we can get Democrats to vote in favor of their own safety. And I know that Republicans frequently vote against their own uh, 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 well being, but that's the MAGA base. They vote for these morons and they vote against their own security. But the morons that the Republicans vote for, they're screwing their constituents while enriching themselves. They use all these campaign donations for these lavish stays at hotels, for these luxury planes. They get this 5-star treatment at nightclubs, at fancy restaurants, lobster dinners, restaurants with sushi on the fucking train. And I don't mean a train that comes around on a little conveyor belt. No, I mean it's in a restaurant with an actual fucking locomotive, and the train itself goes through the restaurant. That's what these people buy for. And the MAGA voters keep voting for them. But they get screwed. But this is totally different, where the Democrats who are actually in positions of power are voting against their own interests. But their own interests are now intertwined with the donations they get from Israel and the military-industrial complex. So Kristi Noem is, of course, out. But this changes nothing. This changes nothing. The Trump regime is still a cabal of pedophiles who are creating war and disorder and terror throughout the country and overseas to distract from the sex trafficking cult that they are a part of. So getting rid of Kristi Noem is not going to stop the ICE raids. Getting rid of Kristi Noem is not going to stop the bombs in Iran. Getting rid of Kristi Noem is not going to stop the rising price of groceries. And yet what's going to happen, just like I said, mark my words, as Kristi Noem is out, Democrats will still vote for Republican nominees. We had it just 3 weeks ago. Mark Kelly voted for yet another Republican MAGA judge. These people do not learn. The only way we are ever going to get out of this is by completely destroying the Democratic establishment and voting in people who will actually support the people and not